What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be comparing both of these gimbals right here. They're both mobile gimbals. I'm going to be comparing them using the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you didn't already know, the iPhone 13 and all of the other models that were released alongside it, including the 13 Pro Max, all have incredible camera capability. One of the major upgrades on the iPhone 13 and the Pro Max right here is the stabilization. So they've added sensor shift, and honestly I was able to notice that right off the rip. It looked really good. Things weren't as shaky as when I actually shut off the phone handheld, but personally I still prefer the stabilization from a gimbal. Usually it's a no-brainer for me when I have to pick up tech, especially if it's between an old tech and a new tech. The DJI OM4, which is the one I've got on my left side right here, is an older tech, and the DJI OM5 is a newer tech. When it comes to gimbals, the biggest thing that anyone's looking for is how stable it makes your footage. So I went ahead and got both of these to compare their stabilization to the iPhone's in-body stabilization. I wanted to see which one was the best and if it was even worth it getting a gimbal to use for my videos. Before I go ahead and dive into this, I'll just let you guys know right off the bat that both of these gimbals work great. So now it's down to your budget or what features you're looking for in a gimbal. The first thing I'll talk about is the ease of setup. Both of these gimbals are extremely easy to set up, and that's due to DJI's magnetic clamp system. So this system right here is probably one of the main reasons why I go for DJI gimbals. Both gimbals come with the same magnetic clamp system, as you can see. So both of them right here attach to your phone and then directly attach to the gimbal, like right there. So it's pretty quick and it's pretty easy, which is very important when shooting with your phone. I'm going to be using the gimbal heavily for short form content, for social media like Instagram, etc. Next thing I'll talk about quickly between both of these is the new built-in extension rod. So 215 millimeter extension rod that's going to make taking selfie videos and selfie pictures extremely fun. And that's just on the OM5, so the newest version of the DJI Osmo Mobile. But the older version, the OM4, does not have this function. You can go ahead and buy an extension rod and attach it to the base of the gimbal, but honestly having it just right there built into the gimbal all the time is huge. At least for me it is. Comment down below if the built-in extension rod in the DJI OM5 is enough to make you go ahead and pick up one of these or upgrade from your OM4. The next major upgrade to the OM5 over the OM4 is the weight. So the weight of the OM5 is 292 grams, while the weight of the OM4 is 390. That's almost 100 grams heavier than the OM5. So this is a lot more portable. So if you're considering portability, then you certainly have to consider the OM5 over the OM4. Both of these gimbals can hold the same weight, so about 230 grams plus minus 60 grams. The fact remains that the OM5 weighs 100 grams less than the OM4, but they still hold the same exact weight for phone. So that's a plus for the OM5 when it comes to portability. Both gimbals can be folded up for transportation, but the OM5 folds up to a way smaller gimbal than the OM4. So if you're thinking about transportation and you don't like having too much on you, or you prefer things to be extremely portable, then you should be leaning towards the OM5 as opposed to the OM4. The iPhone 13 Pro Max weighs 238 grams. Also, since the OM5 is the newer tech between both of these gimbals, it also has access to the latest firmware updates and all the cool new features on the software end. Some of these features include ActiveTrack 4.0 as opposed to ActiveTrack 3.0 on the DJI OM4. If you don't know what ActiveTrack is, it basically allows you to keep focus on one subject, one person, while moving the gimbal all over the place. So the gimbal will stay focused on that one person. It's especially good for selfie videos or vlogging content, stuff where you have to keep the focus on yourself, for example, where you're moving all over the place and all that. ActiveTrack 4.0 is supposed to have better responsiveness and be a better overall tracking system than ActiveTrack 3.0. So OM5 definitely has better firmware and better features on the software end than OM4. Another cool feature that you guys should check out if you do pick up the OM5 is the shot guides feature. This is a completely new feature to the Osmo Mobile. It basically helps you in crafting an entire storyline using different gimbal moves that you might not even be aware of. The shot guides function is going to be huge for a lot of you guys that are beginners to using a phone gimbal, I brought the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the DJI OM5 outdoors for a quick test of the shot guides function. It basically shows you a bunch of sequences and shows you how you can use gimbal moves to create a vibe. And this feature will be great for you guys if you're a beginner. Even if you're an advanced shooter and you're looking for inspiration on what kind of content to shoot, you can use the shot guides function. For the first recommended shot, it appears I'll be shooting a short side view clip. To shoot this, I need to use the selfie camera and hold it out wide to my side while walking and looking straight ahead. Shot guides also gives you a recommended duration for how long each shoot should be, but that can be exceeded as you see fit. You also see a side-by-side comparison of your video and a tutorial clip for comparison. For the next clip in the sequence, I'll be going with feet view. This angle puts emphasis on recording feet movement for a more cinematic feel. According to shot guides, it appears that all I have to do is place the gimbal on the ground and walk past it in a natural way. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a trail view next. This angle allows you to capture the entire environment to create like a first-person view while walking along a path. It appears that all I have to do for this is hold the gimbal in front of me as I walk using the rear view cameras. Finally, I'm going for a back view shot. This angle requires help from a second person. You want to hand over the gimbal to the second person as they follow right behind, recording you. Shot guides are extremely easy and a fun way to start creating new projects using your iPhone 13 Pro Max or any phone at all, and the DJI OM5. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is the final result of all of the individual clips we've just shot using shot guides. If you ask me, I think this is a really cool feature. I took both gimbals and the iPhone 13 Pro Max outside for a test. I wanted to see how each one will handle stabilizing fast and shaky footage. So I decided to do this test running up and down a staircase. As you can see, the OM4 and the OM5 are pretty much similar, but the 13 Pro Max struggles to stabilize overly shaky and extremely fast footage. And that's why you want to consider a gimbal. Besides those major differences, there's some minor differences that I don't really think is going to matter much when it comes to using both of these gimbals. For example, the buttons on the OM5 have been changed. A few more buttons have been added and others have been moved to a different location than they were on the OM4. The power and the mode button on the OM4 has been moved from the front side of the hand grip to the side of the hand grip on the OM5. That button on the OM4 was moved to make way for a new button, so one that allows you to switch between vertical and horizontal mode a lot quicker and switch from your rear cameras to your selfie cameras quickly from the gimbal hand grip. Everything else basically remained the same when it comes to the buttons and the control panel. I'm talking about the joystick, the record button, all of those remain in the same spot. And there's still about 4 indicator lights on the OM5 like there was on the OM4. Both gimbals do fold up differently, but they still fold up quite quickly. Doesn't matter that one is a little different than the other one. They fold up quite quickly. On the software end, most of the modes are still the same from the OM4 on the OM5. So I'm talking clone me, gesture control, time lapses, and all those cool different modes right there. To access and use all of these different modes, you're going to need to download the DJI Memo app. So that app allows you to do different things, record your videos, use the shot guides, as well as control most of the functions of your phone camera directly from the gimbal. After running a few tests with both of these gimbals, as well as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I was able to come to the decision that the OM5 is probably going to be the best for me, at least for what I want and what I'm looking for in a phone gimbal. It has the selfie stick, the 250mm built-in extension rod, which to me is huge. It opens up a lot of doors to a lot more dynamic, high angle and low angle shots. Another good thing that's pushed me towards the OM5 is the portability, foldability, as well as the size of this gimbal as opposed to the OM4. The OM5 is almost 100 grams less than the OM4. Portability when it comes to run and gun shooting and stuff like that is important to me. And I'm going to be using the iPhone 13 Pro Max for a lot of run and gun shooting, a lot of, impromptu shooting, random points where I just have to take a quick shot. When it comes to stabilization, the OM5 and OM4 are awesome. They work very well. They work pretty much the same, at least from what I've been able to notice. Everything else on both of these gimbals are not big enough to differentiate them, at least not in my opinion. The shot guides function, like I said, is great if you're a beginner, but it's not a make or break reason why you'd want to get the OM5 over the OM4. But the other reasons that I mentioned are definitely good reasons to go for the OM5 over the OM4. So go ahead and leave your choice between both of these gimbals down in the comment section based on what you already have or what you're intending to pick. And if you're picking up the OM5, I want to know which of these new features is going to be a reason for you to pick it up. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, I'm gonna go ahead and do a review, a follow-up review with the OM5 and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Say after a week or after a month, showing you guys how it holds up, you know, after a while of using it. If you're looking for the best prices on the OM4 and the OM5, as well as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, make sure to check the links down in the description below. And if you made it to this point of the video, I'd like you guys to go ahead and comment down below Osmo Mobile. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, I need you guys to go ahead and spam that like button for me at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and turn on notifications by hitting the gold bell icon right next to the subscribe button. And I shall catch you guys in my next video. It's your boy Midas, and I'm out, y'all.